You know, after my last video about Janus motorcycles, the comment section was on fire. Apparently, I've never actually ridden a Janus. Or some even think my friend with the Janus doesn't exist either. Kind of like your high school girlfriend you told everyone about who lived up in Canada and came down to see you on weekends. Well, these comments were completely devastating to my good friend Chris Smith, the owner of the now upgraded Janus. And today, we're going to get to ride it. And what a perfect day for it. It's the start of fall here in Ohio. The leaves are changing, the temps are slightly dropping. It is perfect weather to ramble around the back roads of Ohio. And fortunately for us, we're going to take Chris's Janus. So, let's go.
Alright, welcome on this beautiful fall morning here in Cleveland, Ohio. And today we find ourselves on Chris's Janus 250 Halcyon. The last time I rode this motorcycle was about 2.5 years ago, and it was in stock configuration. I enjoyed the motorcycle. It was a fun little cruising around, hit the back roads kind of bike. So Chris took it and has had it, and he has 8,000 miles on the bike currently. And a little over a year ago, he did some upgrades. He brought the CCs to an actual 250 CCs with a new head, a new piston, I think it's a whole new top end. It has oil cooler now, it has a nibby carb, he had it tuned, so it's got a little more grunt. Oh no, ah, and a bump, ah. A Janus motorcycle is definitely a niche motorcycle. I know it doesn't appeal to everybody, and that's okay. And I think that Janus thinks that that's okay as well. But if you're into just cruising, man, hitting back roads, going through this nice twisties at 35, 40, 50 miles an hour, this bike offers a really cool ride experience. And that's what I think this whole motorcycle is about, is the experience, the overall package you get from it. It's light, it's agile. You're in the wind, there's no wind protection, so you are in the elements with the bike. You don't have a lot of power, so you're not interested in going fast. There's no screens to look at, there's no adjustments or modes to hit. You're literally just riding a simple motorcycle through simple back roads and enjoying the experience. And if you've never done it, it's a different experience than just riding a normal motorcycle. This park was made for this motorcycle. This is what this motorcycle was made for. 35, 40 miles an hour, awesome, just beautiful scenery. I mean, right now it's the beginning of fall here in Ohio. The leaves are changing, the temperature is 68 degrees, it's perfect. And this motorcycle is in its glory. This is what this was made for. We are out here just ripping along, just rambling, checking out train tussles and trussels, and you know, you get some hairpin turns, and hey, look at this, the bike handles just fine. I got no complaints at all. And look at me, I just took a hairpin turn at 25 miles an hour. Another thing, the leading link suspension, it feels totally like a normal suspension when you're riding it. Now granted, I'm not going to trail brake at 90 miles an hour into a turn with it. For doing this, it's completely perfect, adequate. Being a rigid, I'm not even feeling the stuff through the seat because the seat springs are doing such a good job at taking that out. So if you remember, there's been a couple people saying that, you know, like if you grab the front brake when the bike is stationary, it locks out the front suspension. But in practice, that doesn't really happen because of rotational force. So right now, I'm going 40 miles an hour, and I'm going to grab the front brake like it owes me money. Okay, and look at that. No dive, the bike stopped just fine. No skid, no problems, no anything. Let's do it again because it's such a unique experience. So I'm going to get up here, let's go 45, almost 50. Hard on the front brake. There it is, and it stopped. Look at that. Oh, I'm in neutral. And that was my fault. But, you know, it stopped perfectly fine. There was no dive. I felt completely in control. In fact, because of the no dive, I think you have more control in some ways. That's why it was the original anti-dive. But again, some people are going to argue that for days, and that's not what I'm here to talk about. I'm here to talk about the experience of this motorcycle, which right now I am thoroughly enjoying. This is what this bike was made for. And if you've noticed when we pass some of these people, there must be a hot rod show going on because there's people lined up in chairs and hot rods everywhere. But it seems like people are lined up and looking, and this bike is getting eyeballs, which is kind of funny. People probably have no idea what they're looking at, which is kind of cool. When Chris first got this motorcycle, I don't know, 3 or 4 years ago, we all went out on a Sunday ride and we all rode small bikes with him. And it was not our typical ride. We took all these really back 35-mile-an-hour roads and went out to a brewery 2.5 hours away and then came home. And it was a great afternoon. It was very relaxing. There was no stress. We stayed out of traffic. I think we went 50 miles an hour max, and that's exactly where this bike fits in. It makes mornings like today perfect. There's something about a light bike like this that you just feel a little more carefree. And I understand that riding any motorcycle at any speed is dangerous. That's why we have our gear on. But there is something about a small bike. It just feels different. I tried to tell people this over the years that say that scooters are stupid. Well, if you haven't ridden a scooter and you haven't ridden it for a decent amount of distance, you won't get it. But it's just a different experience. It's not better. It's not worse. It's just different. And that's kind of what this motorcycle is. It's a throwback, and yet it's modern. And it is built for doing exactly this. Looking at beautiful scenery, cruising around, feeling like you're involved in the environment, but not too concerned about your motorcycle. I'm not looking at the screens ever. There's nothing to look at. Once in a while, I'll stare down and see that I'm going 40 miles an hour and I'm within the speed limit, so we're cool. But besides that, I'm actually looking around. I'm not paying attention to the motorcycle as much as you think you would. Which is kind of why I ride motorcycles. And so now that I'm riding this and doing a kind of a distance by myself here, I'm starting to feel like this is something I might have to get one of these days. The power delivery is really smooth. Now, I know Chris worked on this and he had a guy come out and help him dial it in. And, I mean, look at this. I'm cruising through these turns. I got plenty of power to get through it. This is a fun experience, man. Now, I will say that this would not be a great only motorcycle. If you think you're going to commute every day and go to work and do things like that, not saying you can't do it, but I'm just saying, that might not be the best use for this motorcycle. This is definitely a good second or third motorcycle, a niche motorcycle, for getting out on a Sunday and just rambling around. And that's why they market it for this. They did a great job. When you actually get on the bike and use it for its intended purposes, their marketing makes 100% sense. And again, I'm riding this. I don't feel like I'm riding some rickety motorcycle or anything like that. It feels like a light, capable little bike. And I am really enjoying this, man. Way more than I remembered it. I'm not kidding. I'm not trying to make a video where I'm like, woohoo, but this is a really pleasurable experience. I'm hoping there's a chance we're trying to work out a deal to go and ride the 450 up in Goshin in a couple weeks. And I'm kind of excited about that because this bike is a lot of fun. I think with an extra 15 or 20 horsepower, it might be a lot of fun. And going over the bike, the seating position's great. You could probably ride this for many hours and not get tired of it. My back feels great. The position to my arms are good. That being said, these beach cruiser bars, if you've never ridden a motorcycle with beach cruiser bars, it's a big lever, and that lever has more power, so inputs do cause the bike, to have an input. So compared to a shorter bar or something like that, you do have to be conscious of the fact that if you overcorrect or you put too much in, the bike is going to respond accordingly. And then looking down, I do feel like I'm on a vintage bike. That's another thing that, the aesthetics of it are pleasing. I do feel like I'm riding an old bike, which is cool. I feel like I'm on a mission. I'm on a cruising mission on an older motorcycle. And yet I know that it's probably not going to break down. Most likely. Then again, it is Chris Smith's bike, so. Alright, so I'm going to give it the beans a little bit. Chris's bike should feel more up when you get up in the revs a little bit. So let's give it some beans, see what happens. Oh my God. Yeah, this bike's different now. Woo! Alright, 60 miles an hour, no problems. All right, we're gonna go back down. We don't want to be breaking laws. It's not what we're all about. We did go to Goshin, Indiana. We did visit the factory that makes these bikes. So I know going into this that it is a quality motorcycle. I've witnessed the manufacturing process. I've seen all the individual parts being made, etc. And so when you get the bike, you know, it is a lighter bike. So it feels 200-300 pounds of a bike. But when you're holding it and you're going through the components and everything is very well built, very well put together. I mean, looking at the battery box, this little clip and everything holds it there and hides the battery. And it's completely awesome. It's period correct for what they're going for. All the luggage is made right there in Goshin, Indiana by the Amish. It is quality, functional, the clasp work, everything is cool on it. So there was a lot of time, a lot of effort that goes into these bikes as we've shown you in that last video. And when it comes together in the ride experience, personally for me, I really enjoy it. And I really can't wait to try and ride the 450. I think that's gonna be a really interesting experience because it is a little bit beefier and it has a little bit more power. I wanna see what that experience is like. I think that's gonna be a whole different thing compared to the 250. All right, we're gonna head back. We're gonna go meet up with Chris. We're gonna ride a little bit and then he's gonna tell us what it was like to own this for 4 years. Has there been anything good, anything bad? What exactly did he do to upgrade the motor and all that? So we're gonna go over that with Chris. We'll see you over there.
Is that flashing red mean anything? Oh, recording, okay.
All right, guys, hey, we're here with my buddy Chris Smith, and he has owned the Janus that I talked about in the last video for the last 5 years now?
5 years, yeah.
5 years.
Yeah.
So a couple years ago, I think about 3, when he, about a year after he first got it, we all got a chance to kind of ride it after he was used to it and stuff. And we used to go out on small bike rides. I'd take my TNT 135, he'd ride the Janus. So got many miles behind him and next to him and stuff. But finally today, you did a whole bunch of upgrades and I got to take the bike back out and check it out now that it's a long-term Janus. So speaking of that, so you've had the bike for 5 years. Tell me about your experience.
So I bought the bike November of 2020.
Okay.
And I had my brother, so I'm in Cleveland, Ohio. I had my brother drive me over to Goshin, Indiana. And I bought the bike on November 9th.
Wow, you know the exact date.
And I rode the bike back from Goshin, Indiana that day. Now, what you got to remember about November in northern part of the country is that it gets dark about 5 o'clock.
Yes, it does, and cold.
And it gets a hell of a lot colder. So we left probably 12:30, 1 o'clock, and before you knew it, by about 5:30, we're in the dark. And we're not home yet.
And this is your first time on the bike?
First time on the bike, and don't ride it too fast, and definitely don't go on the highway.
Oh, right, because you got to break the motor in.
We got to break the motor in. So, you know, we're up around Toledo, and I'm out Route 20, and before I know it, I'm on Route 6, and I'm on the highway. So, major mistake for the poor bike, you know, but we rode it back and ran like a top.
Yeah.
We just loved it. And, you know, so it was November, didn't get much riding, saddle time at that time of the year, but the next year, then we started getting it out and doing a lot of stuff.
How long until you decided to upgrade it? Because you put quite a few miles on it before you upgraded it, right?
Yeah, so I'm up essentially at 8,000 miles right now.
Yeah.
And I probably upgraded it at 4,500, I want to say.
Okay.
So I became aware of one of the original owners of Janus, Devin Beek. And he broke off from Janus himself, opened a company called Moto Cult, M-O-T-O-C-U-L-T, in Goshin.
I saw the sticker on the bike.
Exactly,
okay.
Exactly. So he sells upgrades, and you can step the upgrades up a little bit at a time, or you can just go for what he calls a stage 4, which I did. And that's a new head and a bigger piston. Takes it from 229 cc's to essentially 250 cc's. It's marketed as a 250, but it's really only about 229 off the showroom
That's
floor.
common practice for everybody.
So it's got a new head, it's got an oil cooler, upgraded the exhaust, so it's a little throatier, I think, as you heard.
And I saw the Nibby carb, that's new too.
Yeah, which is a lot easier carb to start on the Janus than the original carb they had on there. So if you've got a Janus, at least go get yourself a Nibby car to make your life a lot easier.
I did notice riding it today a little bit that it does have more punch compared to when I rode it in the past. but it seems like it really comes on at about 55, 6,000, or like, there's no tack on it, but what I assume to be probably a mid-range of the RPM.
You're dead on.
Yeah.
Dead on, yeah. And that's where it really gets going. And it's a bike that I will ride anywhere from 35 to 50 or 60. I don't try to rip and tear above there. I've had it out on the highway at 70 over here on I-90, but I don't like to do it. I've got other bikes.
Okay, so you've had the bike for 5 years.
Yep.
Any troubles, tribulations? Like, how's the ownership been? Give me a long-term owner experience.
So I've had a couple of issues. One with a control on the left. It was the turn signal and the kill switch. That kind of blanked out. I called them. They said, we'll send you a new one. So 2 days later, it was there. And I said, can I send the old one back? No, just throw it away or keep it or whatever. So I will say that the Janus people are acutely aware of being available for issues that their customer base has. And you won't find that in any other industry. You'll call in and you'll get somebody on the phone in Taiwan or something like that. At Janus, they pick up the phone, they'll send you right through to service. Service says, have you tried this? No. Try this, try that. You can go on the Janus Facebook page and folks will say, boy, this is going on or that's going on. Guys will make comments, try this, try that. Or Janus just comes on and says, we'll send you a new part. So as far as the customer service level, I'd give them, a 9 point whatever. Right. They're really on top of it and they care. But you know what? Out of everybody else, they value you as a customer. Yeah. Because they know that you are the guy who's out there riding around and is going to talk about their bike. So they value you and they want you to be happy. They know you paid a premium for the bike. Right. So they're very conscientious about that. Other than that, with Moto Cult, I upgraded the rear brake just a month ago. So it's a bigger rotor and you can put a different caliper on. Pete and I didn't do that, put a new chain on and stuff like that.
So after 8,000 miles though, anything else, anything that's worn out, anything that's a problem, or has it been a pretty solid bike?
It's been a solid bike. I think as I told you earlier, I need to replace the starter relay because that will not turn over the electric start. You can whack it and it'll open up, but I said to the guys at Janus, I said, let me buy a new starter relay. Here you go, boom. And so I'm going to throw that on. But other than that, everything else is running great. Fantastic.
All right, so you paid retail price for it. You've had the bike. You put money into it. Overall, are you happy and satisfied with the money you spent?
I am. And I would say that I'm into it. Initial cost, upgrades through Moto Cults, and what have you, probably $6,500, probably another $1,500, $8,000. I'm into it. So, and the fun things about the bike, it's got a fishtail exhaust. You don't see that. It's got the leading link front suspension. So as you're going, there's a couple times in the metro parks where people stopped in front of us. I just grabbed that front brake. Just beautiful braking. When I was out riding, I purposely on camera went about 45 miles an hour and grabbed all the front brake that I possibly could with zero rear brake. So I was relying on just the front brake. Yeah. The front didn't dive, it didn't do anything, it didn't chatter, it just stopped rather quickly. And so there was that video out that showed, somebody was holding the front brake stationary saying, look, it locks out the suspension, whatever. That's not really representation of what actually happens because you have rotating mass. And rotating mass takes away that instant locking out. And what it does is it's grabbing the brake, it's helping it, but now you're not getting that, that sink, and it just stops. It stops wonderfully, actually. Yeah, it just settles right in. Yeah. So that was really cool to see. I'm hopefully it came out on video because it was really cool to have that happen and show that it just stops, and it's great. No skidding, no nothing. No. And I grabbed it. I mean, I put a full ham fist of brake on that sucker and it just stopped. That was really cool. One of the aspects that I didn't really expect is I've enjoyed the visual appeal of a Janus motorcycle. I like that board track look, etc. But when you're on it, that's a whole nother level of the experience. You literally feel like you're in a different time, or so, like looking down at that gas tank is not like a gas tank I've ever ridden before. So it's like this big long gas tank, and you're looking at those beach cruisers and interesting. So visually, it's adding to this experience. Like on a scooter, you're on a scooter, you're looking around, you're on a scooter. Yeah. This is like you're on a motorcycle, but it's just different, and it adds to the experience. So again, it makes that niche experience more nichey, but you get your bang for your buck if you're into that niche. You know, the other thing too is it kind of gives you a feel of what it would be like to have ridden a motorcycle in 1920.
Right.
Like a Bruff Superior, a British bike with that elongated tank, with those big bars, with a light bike. It takes you back 100 years. Boy, this is pretty cool.
Right, but at the same time, you can still stop. It's not a throwback bike. It's an inspired bike, and I get it now.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't worried about not making it back, which on those older bikes is a very real thing. Like you don't know if you're going to make it back.
Yeah, exactly.
So like you're getting the adventurous aspect of it, but with the reliability enough to get home. So it's not a bad way to go.
People like reliability.
Yeah. All right. So as a guy who just rode one again with the upgrades and stuff for the first time, so a new bike to me, I thoroughly enjoyed the experience. And Chris, as a guy who's owned it for 5 years and has been working on it and riding it, put 8,000 miles on it, give your final thought on that bike.
Well, I love the bike. Again, it gets a lot of eyeballs, which is fun, but it's an easy bike to ride. And I'm a slower rider. The other thing too is that Mrs. Smith has been encouraging me to go out and buy the new 450 Halcyon. So that's another struggle that I'm putting up with, trying to figure out whether I want to go and do the 450. But I think that'd be fun to do. Maybe we'll run to Goshin and ride 450s because they're a completely different thing. They're fuel injected.
Yeah.
And
so it's a different level. It's a different experience again. Like that's the thing is I wouldn't compare, like I'm not going to do a comparison video of the 450 to the 250 because it's a completely different experience. It's irrelevant. Like the 250 is its own thing. And I want to experience the 450 and see what that's about. But I think going into these kind of motorcycles or any kind of a niche motorcycle, you can't just take a brand and compare them or compare them to different things because they built a completely different kind of motorcycle.
Right.
So if this is the kind of bike that appeals to you, you're going to love it. If it's something that doesn't, and I can see why you wouldn't be interested in it. But for guys like us, I think it's a really cool bike. So all right, well, today worked and there was nothing dumb about it. So Chris, thank you so much for letting me ride your motorcycle.
All right, Steve, my pleasure, buddy.
And hopefully we'll be going out to Goshin to check out the 450s soon.
Happy to do it.
All right, see you guys on the next one.